Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, welcome everyone. Another good crowd here tonight. Appreciate everybody coming out on this cold evening. Got a few things to go over tonight. Approval of the minutes. You all have had a chance to review those. Any changes or additions? Then the stand approved as is. Report of Town Manager, Mr. Warner.
Thank you, Mayor Stanley, members of council. A few things to report on, mainly just kind of giving a status report of some things. Back on October 25th, Town Council had a strategic planning retreat and set some action items with certain time frames. And I just kind of want to give a report to council and also to the public on those things. There were three things that were to be addressed in the next 30 to 90 days, and of course that was as of October 25th. The first on your list was formal adoption of the Downtown Action Plan, which, although I wasn't here, I understand you did on January 6th. The next is developing a downtown coordinator job description and determining how best to move that position forward. I will report that we are working on that, and I completed a draft of that job description today. Also, discussion of the town's recreation needs as part of a new town-county memorandum of understanding. We have a proposed MOU in Stuart Saunders' office, and actually it's been a very agreeable process working with them. So those are either done or underway. We still have a little bit of time to do it. Next item I want to follow up on was a question that was asked last time when I was not here regarding solid waste disposal at Liberty Lake Park. When the town discontinued commercial solid waste, we realized we created a problem for all our businesses and non-residential customers, and we decided that we should not exempt ourselves from that because we're also a non-residential service. So the main thing was we decided that it was only fair for us to have to contract out for that service as well. So there's other rationale behind that related to cost, but we had an existing memorandum with Bay's trash removal for disposal. We basically made use of that, and that's why Bay's has our business currently. I will tell you, though, that once we do something with the transfer station, if we do, we're going to have to go back and procure that differently. So the short answer is, it wasn't fair to make everybody else do it and not us. The longer answer is, it's still a little bit cheaper for us to do it that way. But just want to make sure that publicly that answer was given. Then just a couple of minor things. I want to report that John Wagner recently completed a successful application for a $50,000 grant to study expansion of the energy producing capability of Snowden hydroelectric plant. So we're continuing to try to do what we can to control costs based on generation. Then I think everybody knows this, but there's a likelihood of significant snowfall this weekend, and one forecast indicates a probability of a foot or more. Public Works is aware. We're already mobilizing. Hopefully we can keep the roads clear for you. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Mr. Warner? All right, moving on. Appearances before council. We have some. Let me start with the Pastor Mark Gibson. Wherever you are, come on up and introduce yourself, your church, where you live, and tell us what's on your mind.
I'm Pastor Mark Gibson. I'm the pastor of Calvary Chapel, Bedford, and I've been asked to open with a prayer this evening. So, Father God, we thank you for this time together. Lord, you've said in your word that for us to give everything that we do to give glory to you and not to man. So, Lord, these are the people that you've raised up to make the decisions for this fine town of Bedford. So, Lord, I ask you to give them the discernment, the wisdom, and all that they need to honor you and to honor this city. So, Lord, we thank you and give you praise and glory in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Ken Parker. I think, Ken, you know the routine.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome.
I promise you to try to be brief. I have a cane over there, so if I if you need the hook, you can use it. I want to wish you a belated Merry Christmas and certainly a very Happy New Year. My purpose tonight, and I sincerely will be brief, is to give you an update on the activities of the Bedford Boys Tribute Center. We have had an incredible year of 2025, and as you will see, going into 26, the Tribute Center, and I'm very humbled, but very, very happy to say, we are internationally known at this time. I wanted to turn the clock back to July of 23 to February of 24, after many visitors asked us, is there a film about the Bedford Boys? Now, I believe you all know about the film. Is there anybody who doesn't have a copy? Okay, I'm going to leave them here anyway for your family. No way could we have anticipated the positivity of that documentary, because what it did, it projected the legacies of the Bedford Boys internationally. As we speak, year end of 25, the Tribute Center has had just a shade under 21,000 visitors, all 50 states, 34 countries. Now, something that we did not expect. When this started circulating, and people then would be coming in and requesting copies and so forth, one thing, in addition to everything else I've mentioned that it achieved, the one major thing, it created a question, very bona fide question. We know about the Bedford Boys, Company A, Bedford, Virginia, but who were they? Very basic question. So about 11 months, well, from last September 27th, 11 months prior to that, so we're looking at a year and a half now, Lynn and I commenced on an incredible, please excuse me for laughing, I know this is being videotaped, and I mean this to be a positive comment concerning our good neighbors from the Republic of France. But necessarily they're not the easiest business people to do business with, as we learned. But in any event, we commenced on designing a 2x3 foot granite stone plaque that individually identifies every Bedford boy. So now we have the question answered. Who were they? Well, what are we going to do? Where are we going to put this plaque was the challenge. So we made appearances up in D.C., 3 visits to the National Association of the National Guard of the United States and their sister entity, the National Guard Educational Foundation. And we made several presentations to their board of directors requesting that we put this granite plaque, 2x3 foot, on their memorial, right at the Veerville Draw, on top of WN-72, which was the German gun emplacement during the invasion. They unanimously approved our request. So, in front of you, you all have a packet, and inside that packet, you will see several pictures in order. I won't go over those right now. They're in there for your digestion of where the plaque is mounted. You will also have a clean copy, if you will, of the wording and the language of the plaque itself, but then also, which is very, very important, is a thumb drive. This is a thumb drive of the hour and 15-minute ceremony given the morning of September the 27th, last September, and ironically, we did not plan it this way, it's just the way it happened. That day marked the 83rd anniversary that our boys aboarded the Queen Mary and set sail for England to prepare the 20 months of training for the invasion. So that was quite an interesting coincidence, if you will, but it was another humbling experience. Now, we did put a request into the French Air Force to provide a fighter jet to fly over our ceremony at WN-72 or the Bedford draw in Normandy, and customarily tip the wing out of respect. Promptly at 11 o'clock in the morning, that Saturday, to begin the ceremony. Well, they didn't show up. It's getting to be now 11:05. We got to get this show going. Have 500 people in the audience. Our guest speakers, Able Chief Messier, General Ring from the National Guard, Francois Gosselin, many of you know him from the Omaha Beach Association. We have to get the ceremony started. Don't you know, all of a sudden, a squadron of 6 French Air Force helicopters came across. So we're very pleased. Ironically, General Ring, who's our Adjutant General, is an aviation National Guardsman. So we didn't tell him, oh, General, this was done for you. Try to add a few points. In any event, thumb drive, again, is of the ceremony, an hour and 15 minutes, followed by 87 color pictures, and you'll see the whole event on your screen. So that is in your envelope. We're very pleased that we were able to complete that. A little sidebar, if you will. The American Battle Monuments Commission is an agency of the federal government that's responsible for the maintenance and care of all 26 military cemeteries worldwide. The gun emplacement at Clearville is one of their monuments. In fact, they have 26 cemeteries and 6 monuments that they're responsible for upkeep and so forth, and they're immaculate. Well, they gave us the honor that our plaque, which is mounted on their monument, a American Battle Monument Commission new monument. So our plaque is a monument on the monument. So we're very, very pleased to report that to you. Now, I hope I brought you up to date a little bit about the activities. We're expecting a very, very good year. Our attendance and visitors from all over the world, it's increasingly going up indescribably. But I do want to take a moment. There's a copy in that envelope from the Virginia Senate, okay? Senator Mark Peake, who we all know. I had a meeting with him early September, and on October the 23rd, he sent a letter out to all elected representatives, both in the House of Delegates and the Senate of the Commonwealth, and also our federal counterparts in Congress and the Senate. So we have putting together an initiative, a very strong initiative, consisting of Senator Peake, Congressman John McGuire, Major General James Ring, Virginia Army Adjutant General, Major Paul Rogers, Chairman of the Board of Directors of the National Guard Association of the United States. We grouped together, we put a petition, and we delivered it to the Secretary of the Navy, the Honorable John Phelan, and we requested, and we're waiting for the official announcement and letter to be delivered to us in short order. What I'm about to tell you won't happen for 2.5 years, but some 10 months ago, President Trump went on national television to announce the merger of Nippon Steel and U.S. Steel for the purpose of building warships. Our Navy is in bad shape. That merger has been achieved. The production of these new warships have begun, and we petitioned the Secretary of the Navy that of the first Arleigh Burke class guided missile destroyer off the line will be christened the USS Bedford Boys.
Oh, wow. That's great.
This is history that cannot be forgotten, and it's all because we're not going to let anybody forget the boys.
Yes.
Any questions?
We certainly.
Thank you very much. I see over my right shoulder, not that I have eyes behind my head, but I offered John $50 for his Nanook coat for the weekend. John, very good. Any questions? Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate what you do, and you are correct. As long as the D-Day Memorial is here and people live here and grow up here, that Bedford Boys will never be forgotten. Never. Thank you. All right, next, Leslie Mahaffey. I see, scratch that and leave on. Come on down.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. I wanted to be transparent about a social media post that I made on January the 17th. You all may not be on social media, but I want you to know what I stated. And the responses, I think, have a bearing on some of the attendance here tonight. Attention Town of Bedford residents. I know everyone is upset about your higher than normal electric bills, and rightly so, but our town council is at it again. The next meeting is Tuesday, January the 20th at 7 o'clock with the attached agenda posted to the town's webpage. You will see another closed session on the property at the Peaks Magisterial District. This is the same property that was discussed on January the 6th and approximately 2 years ago at the Stony Creek Reservoir on Wheats Valley Road. Why close doors again? Just an observation, this wasn't in here, but I know that our town manager was not here, was sick. Glad to see you're better, sir. But I'm only assuming that that's the reason why we're back in closed session here today. I've looked at the deed dated June the 28th, 2013, between the town, city at the time, and Blue Ridge Water Authority. Pump stations, water treatment plants, water storage tanks on Helm Street, and Stony Creek Reservoir on Wheats Valley Road, including the reservoir, spillway, and related equipment, and all equipment on the easterly side of Wheats Valley, including tax parcels 55-1A, 55-26, 55A-24, 55A-22, 55A-19, 55A-23, and 55A-16, less a portion of 55A-16 located on the west side of Wheats Valley is to be retained by the city. Provisions of the consolidation agreement states that a portion of the Stony Creek Reservoir real estate being retained by the city on the west side of Wheats Valley Road shall only be used for agricultural, horticultural, and silvicultural purposes. And I had to look that up because I'd never heard that term before. It deals with forestry. And shall not be developed for residential or commercial properties, and the remaining Stony Creek Reservoir real estate conveyed herein to the BRWA. So, why closed door sessions? I mentioned at the last meeting, when you start off a new year with closed door sessions, it doesn't sound very good. I did go back and look for all of 2025 on the agendas on the your website, and there were no closed-door sessions on agendas listed for all of 2025. And I know from being on boards also, there are times that it is important that you go into closed sessions. I just want to mention that this, there's two properties, 55A116, which has 57.89 acres, has an assessment of $160,800. The zoning is an agricultural rural preserve district. Then another town parcel that's not identified in that agreement, which is 55A17, has 86.42 acres. That has a value of $172,818. And the zoning is the same as above. The properties adjoining are the Blue Ridge Parkway, Austin J. Gross, and other town property. It does appear on the map as being landlocked. This property deals with the watershed, and we need to do everything we can to protect that property, whether it be put in a conservatorship. If it is going to be up for sale, y'all all know how the grapevine in Bedford works, and believe me, I've heard a whole lot in the last several weeks. But if that property is sold, make sure that it is a public hearing about it, that bids are open, and not just to one individual. That's all I have to say right now. Thank you. I'll be back another time, hopefully with pleasantries to discuss. Thank you.
Leslie, thank you. And you come back anytime. You're almost a regular here. I look forward to seeing you.
I'll be back.
I know you will. Thank you.
Welcome, Arnold. I'll be back.
Yeah, appreciate it. All right, Dana Hilton.
We'll say, I've heard to follow Leslie on that one. I do have some information I'd like to pass along. My name is Danny Hilton. I live at 4655 Roaring Run Road in Good. I'm not a city resident, town resident. Been in the county now for quite a while. Grew up in the city. A little bit of my background for you to start. I know some of you all, some of them. I go back to childhood on this property. My dad was the superintendent of water and wastewater treatment. Spent many an hour and day with him. As far as the property's been discussed, I probably walked every inch of it during my lifetime. Hunted a lot, for sure. So, as far as my other part of the career, I did work for the town and city. I left, went to Campbell County Utilities, where I retired in 2011. Also, after that point, I had my own business. We did the some small water systems. We also took care of operations for on-site wastewater systems, and I did some sub work and everything, traveled all over the country for a company out of Lynchburg, doing startup work and training on wastewater systems. So my background has always been in water and wastewater. I was kind of accused of Facebook or one of the postings, I think maybe Leslie did it, that I didn't know what I was talking about. Well, I'm not going there. It's media, right? But I think I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. I've done a lot of research on this property, and I guess you wonder, well, what are you doing? You live in the county. Why should you even care? I care about public utilities that affect residents of Bedford town and the county. I think they deserve to have good service. I think they deserve to have good public water. I support what Bedford Regional Water Authority has done and trying to do the operations of all of the things that they have got. they do have their hands full. Now, as far as the property is concerned, I'll go back to a couple of properties that's already been mentioned, 55A16. And I know, of course, it was a closed session 3 years ago. I did supply information associated with these properties in my research that I did at that time. It was Mayor Black and Vice Mayor Stanton, to address certain things that I found that was either incorrect or hadn't been recorded right. There was issues and problems in the GIS system. And I think some of that looks like to me has been corrected on my recent research. So the portion that BRWA owns is now identified, I believe, as 55A16, 55A16A. Too many A's in there. And the other portion that the town has retained was 55A16 at present under GIS. And then the other property that adjoins that is the town property, which has already been mentioned, 55A17. And researching that property and looking at that property on GIS, which is really hard to see details of the geography and how the water would flow off of that property. The majority of 55A17 appears to go towards Stony Creek side of the watershed. Very little of that property looks like flows into 55A16, and 55A16 flows away. So, when you look at that property in GIS, if you all have not looked at it, take a look at it and add the aerial view. You all went up there and basically timbered both of those tracks. I think the flyover of 2024, I believe, you can really see a lot that took place there. A lot of scarring on the land and all, but since then, of course, Mother Nature has come in and done a lot of healing on that land, which is good. When you have torrential rains and some of those flood type rains that we do get, you get a lot of runoff on that upper section of 55A17. And that's not good. It's close to the reservoir, and when you get that kind of runoff, of course, where's the water going to go? Through the reservoir, and you got all kinds of washing and stuff taking effect, and mud and all of that type of debris into the lake, which isn't good for that. So on that property, that's kind of where I want to kind of start from. So when you stop and look at it, we're looking at all those properties up there. There's some other tracts too on the far eastern side of Wheats Valley Road that was not addressed in the transfer of ownership, where the town still owns two major properties. And I'm assuming with the information I gave you all did look at that. What determination it was, I don't know. But those two tracts both one is 55A32, the other is 55A30. And 55A32 has an acreage of 108.5 with a value of $271,300. 55A30 has an acreage of 34.48 acres at a value of $69,000. Both of those tracts right there have to be accessed not from what got, I guess, retained by the water authority, but that has to come off of Suck Mountain access. And I've always thought all of that land was transferred. And as a hunter, I contacted them to try to hunt that portion of it, and they did not give me permission to hunt it. Which is fine. Got plenty of other acreage to hunt. Now, about watershed, and where does that water go when it hits the ground there? On 55A30, which is basically landlocked, as the other property to the west side of Wicks Valley, 100% of that goes to the lake. 100%. I've walked every inch of that property before, and it's all going downhill right to the cove area and to the lake. So that's a piece of property that I'm hoping that you all get transferred to Bedford County, regional water. It needs to go to them. If they're going to operate and maintain a watershed or provide the water, they need to operate that watershed and monitor that watershed. The other property, which is the 55A32, 108 acres, majority of that does flow directly to that lake also. Because of the way of the terrain up there, which is hilly, it's hard to again tell exactly where that break point is, but I would say, since I know the property pretty well, I'd say about at least 80% of that would flow to the lake also. So both of those tracks need to go. If you're all not going to be in the water business, maintaining the system or any of that nature, and watching the water quality, whoever who's doing the water system needs to own that property. Any questions about that? If you do, I know you probably can't talk about it anyway. All right. A few other things I kind of want to bring out. Who has regulatory access or regulatory responsibility on this property or the watershed? Does the Army Corps of Engineers? I looked it up. Yes, they do. They primarily implement the Clean Water Act, which that covers a variety of things. So yes, they would be a portion of this too. The watershed management. They manage water sources, resources in reservoirs, rivers, and other waterways, aiming to maintain or improve water quality. They have an obligation there. And the reason I kind of addressed that, back in the day, 1954 is when the dam up there was built, the reservoir. That's when the town started taking water. At that time, I don't know, but I know the records were here at this office because back years ago, I went through a whole lot of them. Don't remember much about what I looked at, but it talked about original people being who they bought it from and all of that. If the Army Corps of Engineers was involved on it, a permit had to be granted. I do know nowadays, if you change or do anything in a waterway or associated dam, you have to go to the Army Corps to get it approved. So my question would be, has it been researched by the town's attorneys, whoever, to find out if the Army Corps of Engineers would have to be notified if you would sell any portion of that property for which they, back in the day when it was built, did they have any implementation or permits granted, and would those permits say you have to be notified or they'd be notified upon getting rid of the property? My question to that is, maybe, yes, no, I don't know. That's a question that's going to be answered in my opinion. Department of Health, or Department of Environmental Quality, DEQ. They are a primary agency regulating the watershed. They have primacy on that in the state of Virginia. Department of Health they focus on drinking water source protection. So have they been contacted? If you're going to give something up, the right sources have to be done when you're talking about public health. Period. So, the key agencies involved is DEQ. They're the lead agency for water quality, managing, and permits for wetlands, streams. Okay? Department of Forestry. They offer programs for land and water protection, particularly for forested areas. And somewhat my question there would be, since part of that property and all was scarred, tree removal, and certain things have to take place, but were they involved in helping protect the watershed in that area? That would be a kind of a question. And what did they do to help mitigate or relieve any kind of runoff and that sort of thing during that process? In essence, DEQ handles the water quality and permitting. VDH protects drinking water sources, and local governments enforce specific watershed rules, often supported by federal programs. What's that federal program arm? The Army Corps of Engineers. Source water protection area is the land area that provides water to drinking supplies like a river, lake, or groundwater. It's protected through management strategies to prevent pollution involving activities like land use, planning, education, and implementing best management practice to safeguard water quality and quantity. These areas are defined by factors like geology, land use, and programs aimed to proactively protect water sources. I'm just about done. A few interesting facts that I found looking at the Department of Conservation and Recreation. Stony Creek Reservoir represents a key piece of infrastructure supporting water supply in Bedford, Virginia. Its strategic location make it a focal point for water management and conservation efforts in the region. It serves as a critical resource for the community, highlighting the intersection of infrastructure, water resources, and environmental stewardship. And that's what my big concern is, and part of my passion over 40 plus years in business is the environmental stewardship. You all, me, and everyone in this audience has a responsibility for environmental stewardship. I don't want to drink nasty, dirty water. You all certainly don't, and they don't. And part of what I'm seeing in with the social media stuff a lot is everyone's concerned. Why, when you put it out there and everybody sees it, that this room is not packed? I don't know. But everybody they don't want to. Everybody's afraid to do that. You got to have a passion, number one, I think, to get up and talk about it and voice your concerns. Now, whether this property wants to be sold and for the reasons for selling it, if that's still the case, I don't know. But you kind of listen around for a while. You want to know, why would this person that wants to buy it, Well, about the only thing I've gotten out of it is the only reason they want it to hunt on. Okay? I would love to have it myself. I don't have the deep pockets to go buy it. Could it be made available, use some kind of recreation activity for that? Could permission be done for people or whatever to do that? And it could be managed. It could be done for that purpose. You could do a lottery on it, okay? You give permission. You release liability on that. And as a hunter, if I get permission from, and if you all go hunt your property, you give me that permission, you basically have relieved yourself of any liability under the state hunting rules and regulations and laws. So I don't know what the problem would be with doing something of that nature. Could it be done? Yes, it could be done. That way you can make everyone, for the most part, happy about it. You're not relinquishing anything or giving up watershed or runoff problems or anything else to that point. You still own the property. Is it with a money thing or an issue of needing more money for the town? That question has come up too. I think that question should be looked at and given everyone an answer on. And the drainage area for the reservoir, and this you may or may not know it, it's 6 square miles. That's what it is. This is just a little portion of that 6 square miles. You think would it hurt to have that as being sold? Maybe, maybe not. Point is on property. And you might put a lot of stipulations on it, you may lock it down now. But what Slick Willie lawyers, when time goes past, this generation's gone, the next generation comes along, what's going to change then? The word saying no or never, I don't do that. I don't think anybody can anymore. So I'm going to say never for that change. It's a possibility it could. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Danny. Raised some good points. Roxy Fisher.
I have a few questions about my electric bill. I want to
Come on up here and state your name and address, please. This is your time to speak.
Short.
Yeah.
My name is Roxy Fisher. I live at 519 Jackson Street. I live in a very old house. My electric usage last month was $89. Your extra fee was $297. I want to know if everybody has the same rate. Do the businesses have the same rate as residential? I'm just asking. Do they? Does anybody know?
This is your time to speak.
Okay, I'm asking y'all. Does anybody here?
It's not a back and forth.
Okay,
It's a
I asked somebody
question and
that
answer.
question. I got no answer for.
You're telling us about the bill.
I'm just asking,
Okay.
can I just ask, who do I talk to? Because I asked several people, I got no response. That's my issue, is the fact that when I ask, I get no response.
No.
Or I get the runaround.
If you
So
talk to
that's my opinion, and I just
Okay.
would like to know, do I talk to him?
And we will get you an answer, yes.
Thank you, that's all.
Actually, I will tell you, there are different rates for businesses and
Yes.
residences.
Okay,
Yes,
that's what I thought.
happy to provide it.
Yeah. Okay, I believe that is.
And any other questions, Ms.
Yeah,
Fisher,
but-
please contact me.
Yeah, anything else about the rates? Send a note to Mr. Warner,
Yes.
and we will get you an answer. Okay, council comments. Mr. Haley, what do you got for us?
I just want to tell everybody, thank you for coming tonight. Glad to see the whole, everybody here, so thank you for being here and express your concerns and your opinions, so y'all have a great evening.
Thank you, that's all I have.
I just want to say I appreciate everybody coming out tonight. Pastor Gibson for your prayer, Ken Parker for all the good work you do and keeping up with the Bedford boys. Leslie, AKA Miss Bedford, for your educational stuff. Danny, you gave me a lesson tonight that I did not know a lot about. I appreciate all the information that you gave us on that. And Roxy, we hope you get an answer.
Yes.
That's all I have.
All right. Well, just to echo some of the comments the council's already made, appreciate everyone being here. And Leslie, whether you think it's a positive thing or negative thing, we want to hear what's going on. Okay. The involved community is, helps to inform council and provides direction. So don't be, don't confine your comments to social media. Those things tend to get lost in translation. So come to us, not social media. Ms. Parker, again, thank you for what you're doing. This is great news about the plaque and your international outreach. That's just, it was good to hear. And also about the potential naming of future Navy boat. That's pretty good. Again, thanks for everyone for being out here. Appreciate you. That's all I got.
Anyway, I'd like to thank everybody that, for being here tonight, because I also like to thank the people, that actually watch us, by YouTube. I still get a lot of comments on those people that watch by YouTube. And thank you, Pastor, for your prayer. We actually covered your prayers up here. As you can see, we have a lot of different comments from people, and we all take it in. We just don't brush it out. But again, I don't like to say thank everybody for being here.
I'm going to keep it short. Welcome everybody and thanks for being here. That's all I got. Short.
I have nothing to add to that other than thank you all for coming. Dating very good information. A lot of that we are aware of. And Leslie, thank you as usual. But any questions that you have, the high bills, send those to Mr. Warner, any concerns, and we'll have the electric department address them, or someone will get in touch with you on some of that. But appreciate everybody coming, and keep on coming. All right, report of council committees. We had none. Revisions to the agenda.
I have two.
Okay.
I wanted to see where we was on Old Yeller, because all the equipment had been moved away.
You want to add that to the agenda?
To check on that, and I wanted to check on the status of the insurance thing with the trash at the county.
Bart, you know what that is?
Scale house issue? Yeah. I don't mind answering those questions right now.
Oh, go ahead.
If you guys are okay
Yeah.
with it. Old Yellow, yeah, there's not any obvious activity outside. I did talk to the building official about that yesterday, who did say that Mr. McCormick is active inside. He has been inside to inspect some things, but yeah, he's supposed to have that done this summer. So that's the status of that. The scale house issue, I have not heard anything in several months about that. My understanding was that their insurance company and our insurance company were talking and perhaps going to fight about it. But haven't received any updates, but I'll reach out to the county and see if there's anything. Anyway, sorry to be out of turn, but I
That's all right.
don't mind getting
Good.
info out.
Is that okay? Good. All right, no public hearings, no consent agenda, no old business. New business, personal property tax write-off for 2020. Mr. Warner.
According to the state code, collection of local personal property taxes is only enforceable for 5 years following December 31st of the year for which such taxes were assessed. Treasurer's Office pursues multiple collection methods, including reporting accounts to the state debt set-off program and by issuing holds to the DMV. To conform with the state code, staff is requesting for town council to approve the write-off of outstanding 2020 personal property taxes in the amount of $741.24. This means the collection rate for 2020 personal property tax was 99.39%. Tonight, Town Council is requested to approve the Treasurer's Office to write off all remaining 2020 personal property bills on the active record.
Do you hear a motion?
So moved.
Councilman Haley and Vice Mayor Updike made the second. Any questions, comments?
I think
Pardon?
considering we got over 7,000 residents with tax, I think 99.39% is awesome.
I was going to say the same thing. 99.39 is extremely good.
That's 'cause
Very,
hands
very
them
good.
all.
Good job. It goes back to your staff. You've got them going. Thank you.
All two of them.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get you some help. And get up to 100%. Good deal. Anything else? Roll call.
Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Mr. Foreman?
Aye.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mr. Haley?
Aye.
Mr. Ippolito?
Aye.
Mr. Updike?
Aye.
Mayor Stanley?
Aye.
Motion carries with 7 members voting aye.
Utility bill write-off for 2020. Mr. Warner.
Similarly, as of December 31st, 2025, the electric accounts over 5 years old and inactive have been deemed uncollectible in the amount of $34,817.86. All efforts have been made to collect the delinquent electric bills, including submitting them to state debt set-off program for collection. Staff is requesting approval from Town Council to write off the outstanding balances on the remaining accounts. That would result in a collection rate for the 2020 utility bills of 99.84%. Tonight, Town Council is requested to approve the utility billing and treasurer's office request to write off all 2020 outstanding utility bills on the active record.
All right, do you hear a motion?
Yeah.
Councilman Ippolito, second.
Second.
Councilman Haley made the second. Any discussion, questions?
So just one question. I know, I think I probably asked this before. When the account gets to this point, if a customer ever wants to come back and get an account through us again, what process or what would they have to do to get back to where they can actually receive power if they move back into town?
I guess it depends, one, on if the social security number or federal ID number is the same. In that case, we might catch it. Although we've had some hesitation when it's over 5 years and it hasn't been collected on if it's still actually collectible. So occasionally we've been able to collect it and the person has voluntarily paid it, but that is a rarity.
There's probably a moratorium on some of that, I would think. It just falls off. But again, you're right in that most people are smart enough not to use that same, or the same social security number. They'll
Correct.
use a
And
friend,
then-
wife, husband, or whatever.
Sorry, excuse me. In this year particularly, I know there was at least 1 or 2 big bankruptcies that were included, and so we've been carrying that for a couple of years.
Yeah. But again, 99.84 is very good.
It is very good.
Anything else? John?
Mr. Foreman?
Aye.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mr. Haley?
Aye.
Mr. Ippolito?
Aye.
Mr. Updike?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Mayor Stanley?
Aye.
Motion carries with all members voting aye.
Budget amendment, fire department grant from Line Vessel. Mr. Warren.
The town of Bedford received notice of award from Lyondell Bazell for a community grant to purchase 2 new combustible gas meters for the fire department, the existing equipment being past its replacement date. Funding was received on November 7th, 2025, and the fire department is requesting a budget amendment to appropriate the funding towards the small tool account where the equipment will be purchased. Tonight, Town Council is requested to approve a budget amendment which will appropriate $3,500 to the revenue item titled Recovered Cost Fire Department and the corresponding expenditure line item Hand Tool Replacement.
Do you hear a motion?
So moved.
Councilman
Second.
Haley and
Second.
Councilman Evans made the second. Discussion or questions? This is pretty much a pass-through, I guess. We'll get it. Yeah. All right, roll call.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mr. Haley?
Aye.
Mr. Ippolito?
Aye.
Mr. Updike?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Mr. Foreman?
Aye.
Mayor Stanley?
Aye.
Motion carries with all members voting aye.
Resolution Bedford Autobus support for fiscal year 27, Federal Transit Administration 5311, Transportation Funds application. Mr. Warner.
The town was awarded 4 demonstration grants from the Virginia Department of Rail and Public Transportation to operate the Bedford Autobus for fiscal years 2023 through 2026. The intent with that demonstration grant was to apply solely for state assistance over 4 years before considering becoming a federally funded transit provider after that. The bus has grown in public use by making 3,234 stops in 2022, 5,560 stops in 2023, 6,796 stops in calendar year 2024, and 7,923 stops in 2025 at 17 locations at no cost to riders. Basically, staff is asking for the authorization to apply on the Health Foundation's behalf for this federal grant, which would essentially be a pass-through. The total estimated project operating cost is $258,714, but that would not be paid by the town. Also, we'll note that in light of the priorities that council established at your retreat, this would correspond to number 3, which is public services. So it does tie into strategically what you have stated that you're trying to accomplish. Tonight, Town Council is requested to authorize staff to submit the grant application for the Bedford Autobus FTA 5311 funding as a subrecipient through the Virginia Department of Rail and Transportation, recognizing commitment grant match would be required from an outside entity.
Do you hear a motion?
So moved.
Councilman Foreman, and who? All right. Councilman Foster made the second. Any questions? Comments?
I just want to say this has been a great thing for the town, because it helps some of our citizens get from all over town, different areas or whatever. So it's been a great program since we entered into this thing, so.
You know, we have an average increase in ridership that exceeds 1,000, per year. That's awesome. Maybe we need to utilize the auto buses, putting surveys and stuff that we need citizen input on as a way to reach people through there. But this is awesome the way this is going.
It was very much a need when I knew it was started, and it's really great to see that it's being used like it is.
Yeah, I echo all of that. I see the bus around town, and it's always someone on it. People are taking advantage of it. And Mary passed this out earlier. In 2022, ridership was 3,234. At the end of 2025, 7,923 people. So it is being utilized. It's a great thing for the community, and I'd like to see it continue and carry on. All right, let's see. We have a motion.
Yep.
All right. I'm just looking here. Roll call.
Mr. Haley.
Aye.
Mr. Ippolito.
Aye.
Mr. Updike.
Aye.
Mr. Evans.
Aye.
Mr. Foreman.
Aye.
Mr. Foster.
Aye.
Mayor Stanley.
Aye.
Motion carries with all members voting aye.
Award contract to Thompson Litton for services related to municipal building renovations.
In response to several emerging issues with the municipal building, the town of Bedford issued a request for proposals for design, bid assistance, and construction administration services related to potential renovations of the property, including replacement of HVAC and electric systems, as well as other identified deficiencies. Thompson and Litton emerged as the highest ranked bidder under the terms of the RFP. Under the terms of the RFP, the initial bid from Thompson and Litton is valid for a period of 90 days, beginning on September 26, 2025. Failure to act on the bid by December 26 meant that all bids would have been disqualified. In order to meet that deadline, Town Council adopted a formal intent to award statement at its regular meeting on December 9th. As part of the December 9th meeting, Council also went into closed session to discuss specific terms of the proposed contract, including scope and price for services. After further discussion with Thompson and Litton and legal review by both parties, the contract that's been circulated amongst council members is now presented for formal consideration. The most recent price quote is dated November 13th, 2025, with the same 90-day terms. Therefore, if we do not resolve the matter by February 13th, all bids would be disqualified. Again, going back to the priorities established by council, this would relate to number one, which is infrastructure needs and an attempt to address that. Tonight, Town Council is requested to formally approve award of a contract to Thompson and Litton for services related to municipal building renovations.
All right, do you hear a motion?
So moved.
Councilman Haley, and second, Councilman Ippolito. All right.
And I'm sorry,
sure-
the amount of the contract is $263,700.
Correct. And I know each and every one of you read through every line of this document and are familiar with it, but I trust that our attorney has gone over this, and would you enlighten us? Let's do.
There's not a lot to add. It's a standard AIA contract. We negotiated some of the terms to be, the engineer felt that there were certain terms that they needed to have in order to be comfortable with, and we felt that there were certain terms that we needed, particularly with ways that we could do value engineering at a later date, or that we could, what would happen if there were defaults in the process by each party. We're all satisfied with it. AIA does a fine form contract. I actually had one of my associates who specializes in working with both localities and then also representing construction contractors and civil engineers in litigation, look this over, and he did the final cut on it, and I think we're pleased with it.
Okay. Questions? Comments? All right, John.
Mr. Ippolito?
Yes.
Mr. Updike?
Aye.
Mr. Evans?
Aye.
Mr. Foreman?
Aye.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mr. Haley?
Aye.
Mayor Stanley?
Aye.
Motion carries with all members voting ayes.
All right, make a move that we go into closed session pursuant to Virginia Code 2.2-3711, 3 and 8 for the purpose of discussion or consideration of the acquisition or disposition of land or consultation with the town attorney regarding the legal status of such property, where discussion in open session would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the town. Regarding forest property outside of town limits in the Peach Magisterial District of Bedford County. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Haley and Vice Mayor Updike made the second. Yeah.
advised that one, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting, to which this certification resolution applies, and two, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by council.
All right. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Haley and Vice Mayor Updike. Whenever you're ready, sir.
Mr. Updike.
Aye.
Mr. Evans. Mr. Foreman.
Aye.
Mr. Foster.
Aye.
Mr. Haley.
Aye.
Mr. Ippolito.
Aye.
Mayor Stanley.
Aye.
Motion carries with all members voting aye.
Anything else to come before this council? We are adjourned.